Good evening, everyone. This is Joanne Horton, the founder and managing director of Creative Consulting here in Cairns, Far North Queensland, Australia. I would like to say a big thank you to so many people right now, but I believe this video will show a lot of people the truth about a lot of things. And so I urge you to make this video viral, share this far and wide, get it across to the other side of the planet. We know us Aboriginal people, we've got our grapevines. Let's use those grapevines and get the word out, because really the government don't care. And to be honest, I'm more afraid of what God would do to me if I don't speak out and tell the truth than I am afraid of what the government could do to me. I've had a jail plan with my staff for quite some time, so they know that if I disappear, go missing, that they will continue the work of the business. However, please read the letter that I've sent off to the International Court of Justice and the United Nations in New York. I can't do anything other than just read this letter. That's my sole purpose for being here tonight. So thank you. Okay, sorry about the blue stuff on my eyes, but I don't have expensive glasses. I don't have the filter thingy to stop you from seeing the blue. So I'd like to share this document now, and I will read through the document word for word. And I've only got a 10-minute video, well, really 9 minutes, so I need to get this out there in a very short space of time. So thank you. To the United Nations, International Court of Justice, and any other relevant party that has an interest in the below case. The Australian Government, the Australian Government, genocide and crimes against humanity concerning the Aboriginal people of Cape York, Far North Queensland, Australia, 2018 to 2023. Now I'm going to read this letter warts and all. You'll see my mistakes. I don't care. I don't care. It's the content. Please take note of the content, not grammar, spelling, or anything like that. I, Joanne Marie Horton, of an address known by authorities in Cairns, Far North Queensland, Australia, hereby swear and declare that all information below is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. In direct contravention of the below acts and treaties, in jurisprudence in Australia and of the United Nations treaty bodies, I hereby charge the Commonwealth of Australia with crimes against humanity and genocide against the Aboriginal people, families, and their communities of Cape York and Far North Queensland, Australia, and/or for being complicit in the slow genocide of Aboriginal people, families, and their communities of Cape York and Far North Queensland, Australia, notwithstanding the effects of these atrocities against the staff and families and communities that are associated with Creative Consulting Proprietary Limited. According to the Attorney General's Department, Australia is a party to the below core international human rights treaties: the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, the International Covenant Convention, the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women, the Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, or Degrading Treatment or Punishment, the Convention on the Rights of a Child, and the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The Australian Government has yet to endorse the rights of Aboriginal people as set out in the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Persons into legislation in Australia. I also refer to Roads to Nowhere, How Corruption in Public Investment Hurts Growth, Vito Tanzi and Hamid Dawoodi. This is a document from the International Monetary Fund. Vito Tanzi has a PhD, as well as Hamid Dawoodi has a PhD, both with an economic background, and Vito coming from, I believe it was Harvard, and Hamid Dawoodi from Massachusetts, I believe. The Australian government is accused of neglecting their duties as a signatory to the ratification of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. The Australian government have breached multiple acts that are contained within the rights around freedom, self-determination, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional integrity, employment, economic development, and most importantly, cultural integrity. The Australian government continues not to listen to the needs and act in the best interests of those under your charge, particularly the Aboriginal people of Australia. After much research and deliberation, I finally found the words to accurately describe what I am seeing and experiencing in the physical. Genocide, crimes against humanity. The employees of my company, Creative Consulting Proprietary Limited, are hurting. The clients of my company, Creative Consulting Proprietary Limited, are also affected. The families and children of my employees who have been directly affected by the hand of the Commonwealth of Australia are also suffering. The Australian government, with reference to the National Disability Insurance Scheme, introduced a scheme that allegedly sought to assist people with disabilities to choose services and support that would assist them to live their best lives. Instead, what we are seeing is staff disappearing because the trauma is too much for them to handle. Bank accounts emptying, supports being cut from client plans so they can't access our specific service, amongst other things. My employees without the necessities in life, all because the Australian government almost successfully decimated the leader of the company, me. My people, Aboriginal people, without the very basic access to the rights of every other living being, the right to life. I have seen in myself symptoms of complex post-traumatic stress disorder as a direct result of saying yes to my people when asked to start a business in my home community of Yarrabah, Far North Queensland. This is not the people's fault. This is not the service provider's fault. The fault of this lays wholly and solely with the Australian government. The symptoms are ones already discussed with doctors, and I have 10 years worth of diaries to refer to as well. Please refer to my company's online YouTube account to view the videos I have posted on the Creative Consulting YouTube page, where I first highlighted the injustice here, and I've left a link. When I recall the history of this company and how I grew from a sole trader to a company boasting a 96% Aboriginal employment rate with 68 staff on payroll at this time, I am overwhelmed. I've always said that had I known what I was getting into, I wouldn't have chosen this path. But I've come to understand that I was chosen by my ancestors for a time such as this, to live through the hardships so that I can speak to the atrocities from lived experience. Ever since I started in this sector and in this business, I realised that the Australian government's ignorance of cultural needs associated with the delivery of public sector schemes has been central/pivotal to all that has happened. Their systems and processes wore us down over time, and each hit was ignored due to more and more clients coming through the doors saying they had been hurt by the scheme.